Hello. Um, Today I talk about the heavy metal music. The heavy metal, referred to as metal, is a genre of rock music that developed in late the 1960s and the 1970s, originally in the United Kingdom and later in the United States, with roots in blast rock and psychedelic rock. The bands that created heavy metal developed and trick massive sound, characterized by highly amplified distortion, extended guitar solos, emphatic beats, and overall loudness. Heavy metal lyrics are performance styles and generally associated with masculinity and machismo. The first heavy metal band, such as Led Zeppelin, Dead Purple, and Black Sabbath, attracted large audiences through they were often debated by critics as a status common throughout the history of the genre. In mid 1970s, Judas Priest helped spur the genre evolution by discarding much of its blues influence. Motorhead introduced a punk rock sensibility and increasing emphasis on speed. Bands in the new wave of British heavy metal such as Iron Maiden followed in a similar vein. Before the end of the decade, heavy metal fans became now the metalheads or headbangers. During the 1980s, glam metal became a commercial force with groups like Motley Crue and Poison. Underground scenes produced an array of mainstream aggressive styles. Thrash metal broke in the mainstream with bands such as Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax, while other styles of the mainstream subgenres of metal like death metal and black metal remain subcultural phenomena. Since the 1990s, popular styles such as new metal, which often incorporates elements of grunge and hip hop and metalcore, which blends extreme metal and hardcore punk, have further expected to the fusion of this genre. Now, I told you some subgenres of metal. For example, black metal, death metal, doom metal, glam metal, gothic metal, groove metal, power metal, speed metal, stoner rock, thrash metal, traditional heavy, and other genres are fusion genres, alternative metal, avant-garde metal, Christian metal, cruise punk, drum metal, digital hardcore, extreme metal, folk metal, funk metal, grindcore, industrial metal, metalcore, new classic metal, new metal, post metal, progressive metal, trap metal, sludge metal, symphonic metal, and viking metal. And now the characteristics. The heavy metal is a traditional characterized by loud distorted guitars and emphatic drums, dense bass and drum sound, and various vocals. Metal subgenres variously emphasis after or omit ones or more of these attributes. New York New York Times critic of John Parles writes, in the taxonomy of popular music, heavy metal is a major subspecies of hard rock the breed with less syncophonation, less blast, more showmanship, and more brute force. The typical band lineup includes a drummer, a bassist, a rhythm guitarist, and lead guitarist, and a singer who may or may not be an instrumentalist. Keyboard instruments are sometimes used to excite a fullness of the sound. The electric guitar and the sonic power that is produced through amplification and hysterically being the key element in heavy metal. The lead role of the guitar is heavy metal often collides with the traditional frontman or breather role of vocalist, creating a musical tension as the two contest for dominance and spirit, affectionate rivalry. Heavy metal demands the subordination of this voice to the overall sound of the band, reflecting metal roots in the 1960s counterculture and explicit display of emotion is a required from the vocals of the sing authenticity. Authenticity. Critic Simon First claims that the metal singer's tone of voice is more important than the lyrics. Metal vocals vary widely in style for multicultural theatrical approach of Judas Priest, Rob Halford, and Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson, to the groove style of Motorhead, Lemmy, and Metallica, James Hetfield, in the growling of many death metal performers, and to hard screams of black metal. The prominent role of the bass is also key of metal sound, and interplay of bass and guitar in a central element. The bass guitar provides the low end sound crucial to making the music heavy. Metal bass lines vary widely in complexity, from holding down a low pedal point as a foundation to doubling complex riff lyrics, along with the lead and/or rims guitars. Some bands feature the bass as the lead instrument and approach popularity by Metallica Cliff Burton in early 1980s. The essence of metal drumming is create a loud, constant beat for the band using the trifecta of speed, power, and precision. Metal drumming requires an exceptional amount of endurance, and drummers have developed considerably speed, coordination, and dexterity to play the indicate patterns uses in metal. A characteristic metal drumming technique is the cymbal choke, which consists of striking a cymbal and immediately silencing on a graving with the other hand, or in some cases the thumb striking hard, producing a burst of sound. The metal drum setup is generally much larger than those employed in other forms of rock music. In live performance, loudness as onslaught of sound in sociologist Dina Weinstein description is considered vital. In his book, Metalhead's psychologist Jeffrey Arner refers to heavy metal concerts as the sensory equivalent of war. The following the lead set in Jimi Hendrix Scream and The Who early heavy metal acts such as Blue Chair, set to benchmarks for volume as impact. Weinstein makes the case that in the same way the melody is the main element of pop and rhythm in the main focus of house music. Powerful sound, timbre, and volume are the key elements of metal. The surcharge, the loudness of designed to sweep the listener into the song and deprivate the shoot of surely-ability. The musical language, the rhythm and tempo. The rhythm in metal songs is emphatic, with deliberate stresses. Weinstein observes that the way they rate the sonic effects available to metal drummers enables to rhythmic planners to take on a complicity within in the elemental drive and insistency. In many heavy metal songs, the main groove is characterized by short, two-note or three-note rhythmic figures generally make 8 or 16 notes. The rhythmic figures are usually performed with a staccato attack, created by using palm muted technique of the rhythmic guitar. Brief, abrupt, and distinct rhythmic cells are joined into rhythmic phases with a distinctive, often jerky texture. These phrases are used to create rhythmic accompaniment and melodic figures called riff, which help to establish thematic hooks. Heavy metal songs also use longer rhythmic figures such as wool note or the quarter note length chord in slow tempo power ballads. The tempos is in a heavy metal music trended to slow, often ponderous. By the late 1970s, however, metal bands were employing a wide variety of tempos. In the 2000 decade, metal tempos range from slow ballad tempos, quarter note 16 beats for a minute to extremely fast ballad beats tempos, quarter note 350 beats for a minute. And I talk about the harmony. One of the signatures of the genre is the guitar power chord. In technical terms, the power chord is relative simple and involves just one main interval, the perfect fifth, through an octave made to update to doubling of the root. Although the perfect fifth interval is the most common basis from the power chord. The power chords are also based on different intervals such as the minor third, major third, perfect fourth, diminished fifth, and minor sixth. Most power chords are also played with consistent finger arrangement that can be easily up, down to freeboard. Typical harmony and structures. Heavy metal is usually based on riff created with three main harmonic traits: meter scale projections, tritone, and chromatic progressions at the use pedal points. Traditional heavy metal tends to employ modal scales, in particular, and alien and figuring modes. Harmonicially speaking, this means the genre typically incorporates modal short projections such as the Aeolian projections and Phrygian projections, implying the relation between, for example, 10 sound, shutter, or tritone relationships are used at the number of metal short projections. The tritone or interval spanning three whole tones, such as C on F, was a forbidden dissonance of medieval ecclesiastical ecclesiastical singing, sorry, which led monks to call to Diabolus in musica, the devil in music, because the original symbolic association it can to be heard in Western cultural convention as evil. Heavy metal has made extensive of returning guitar solos and riffs such as the beginning in Black Sabbath. Heavy metal songs often make extensive of a pedal point as harmonic basis. A pedal point is substained tone, typically in bass range, during which as less or fraying dissonant harmony is sounded by other parts. Image and fashion. For certain artists of band, visual imaginary plays a large role in heavy metal. In addition to this sound and lyrics, the heavy metal band image is expressed in album sleeve art, logos, stage sets, clothing, and music videos. Some heavy metal acts, such as Alice Cooper, Kiss, Lordi, and Jaguar, have arduous performance and stage shows. Then down the back, long hair, according to Weinstein, in the most crucial distinguishing feature of metal fashion. Originally adopted from the hippie subculture in the 1980s and the 1990s, heavy metal hair symbolized the hate and the detachment of a generation that seemingly never felt at home. According to journalist Nader Rashman, long hair gave members of metal community the power they needed to rebel against nothing in general. That's it.